one of our top football coaches at Tots United.
My name's Stuart. I study to be a geography teacher at Stirling University right now, but I come back at the weekends for Tots United. You've got to make yourself look ridiculous if you want to get them to enjoy it. His mum just talked to me quickly at the start. She was like, he left his last football club, didn't enjoy it, just wasn't really having fun. It's just looking to try something. He might not like it, maybe he just doesn't like football. So he gave it a try, and then he came up to me right at the end of the session. He's like, that was amazing. I love that. And he was so excited, and his mum's like, I've just not seen him like that before. It's controlled chaos, not chaos. And that's what I'd say. Like, it's definitely something I would do for volunteering. Don't get any ideas.
Hello, I'm Yusuf, one of the founders of Tots United. I'm here alongside my dear friend and business partner AJ, Managing Director, and today we're sitting down with Coach Stuart, one of our top football coaches at Tots United. And this is a chance to get some fresh, first-hand insight and perspective, what it actually takes to deliver Tots United sessions week in, week out, and the impact that it has on children and their families. Very much looking forward to this one. So let's get into it. Coach Stuart, a warm welcome and good to have you here at Tots United HQ.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Brilliant. AJ?
Listen, great to see you, Stuart. I mean, it's been a long time coming to get you into the HQ, so brilliant.
Brilliant. So I'd like to kick off, just to get us started, for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up at Tots United.
Yeah, perfect. So my name's Stuart. I study to be a geography teacher at Stirling University right now, but I come back at the weekends for Tots United. I actually originally planned to just stay up the whole time, but I love Tots United so much, so had to come back, keep the shifts going at the weekend. I originally actually found the job on Indeed, and my mum found it actually.
I remember the conversation actually, yes.
And she said, oh, you'd be really good at that. You're good with kids and you're mediocre at football, so you could do that. And I went on, I had my trial session at Trinity with Coach Gary a long time, over 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 days before Christmas, I think it was, because I remember we were playing all the Christmas games and I absolutely loved it. And Gary said, oh, you did really well and everything. And then really soon I got my own classes and worked on, got more classes, nurseries, even taking football teams. Just, you keep getting new things. So yeah, that's kind of how I got the job.
Yeah, so I mean, that's quite a long time that you've been with us now, around 2 years, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And I mean, if I can take you back to around about that time that you started with us, just that kind of the process of getting started, you know, the application process, your first sessions, you know, do you remember that? And if so, like, what was that like?
Yeah, so as I said, I had my first session with Coach Gary, and that was just kind of being an assistant coach, kind of learning, meeting all the children, and then had a few more as an assistant coach to kind of get into it. And then Coach AJ came and watched me coach at Super Soccer, I want to say.
Correct,
I think.
yes.
And he said I did really well, so he made me like a head coach quite early on, and I got my own classes, and I just absolutely loved it. I started, I think, Super Soccer on a Saturday and Park Mains on a Sunday, I think. Yeah, I have, because some of the kids that are at Park Mains on a Sunday I've had for over 2 years now, which is really weird. Like, some of them I've had since they were 1 and now they're up 3-4. It's just nice to see them still there after all that time.
So that was like 2 separate locations that you started off with initially. One in Glasgow City Centre, and then another one in Renfrewshire in Erskine. That you started off with?
Yeah, well, I might have also done the Wednesday night one, I think. I forget, I've done so many the Wednesday night one in
Paisley,
yeah. Paisley Grammar School, I did that. Slightly older kids, so that was a bit different. Maybe 6 to 8 year olds there, and it was good because they play obviously games, but then you've also got your 1 to 3 year olds, and they more just play silly games and fun stuff. But it's good, I love all the age groups, they're all good.
Brilliant. And tell us a little bit more about that, like your first sessions, like as you were getting started, like what was going through your head and how were you feeling about all that?
Yeah, I was always just very excited for it because I knew it was something I'd probably be good at. I'm quite good with kids. So first session with Gary, I remember it was right into Christmas games. I just remember thinking this was really fun and fast paced because my friends have got jobs as like lifeguards and stuff, and I always thought that just sounds really boring. I'm just kind of sitting there, but you're definitely always on the go when you've got like 20 children running around. So I remember thinking that right away, that it's going to be fun. It's not something I'm ever going to get bored of.
And what did you think when your first class? Let's take us back. That first session that you led, that you took on as head coach. I remember going through all that with you, the process. And so let's take us back to that.
First session as head coach, I remember obviously getting the lesson plan sent out to me. And I was at the start, I'd always follow the lesson plan like right to the word. But So I was always just making sure I got all the games correct, making sure I was learning it. And I probably my first session I wasn't as like good as I am now, probably because I didn't know all the games. You don't know the kids yet. It's also important knowing what kids like which games, I always think. So my first session as like an actual head coach, I remember I was just making sure, let's get all the games right, make sure all the kids understand, make sure everyone at least knows what they're doing. And then you can get the enthusiasm and all that in there as well. But yeah, it was at Super Soccer, my first one I took as an actual head coach. And that was a really great class. I remember that class. I still see some of the kids from that in other sessions now. And yeah, it was a good first session.
What age group was that for? Do you remember?
It might have been kind of 4 to 6 Mighty Tots. That kind of age group, I think.
Right, okay. 3.5 to 5 is our Mighty Tots.
Yeah, it was maybe also slight.
Younger than that as well. Mini Tots.
It could.
Yeah, I think it was both groups grouped together. There was the 18 months to 3.5, the minis and megas, and then it was the Mighty Tots. From what I remember, you did both sessions really well.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, coming across Tots United for the first time, we're a premier provider of fun, engaging sports classes specially designed for toddlers and young children from 18 months up to 8 years old. And we've got 2 brilliant sport programs, Tots United Football and Tots United Gymnastics. So our program, it starts for kids, for toddlers from 18 months. And then it goes right up to 8 years old. So I think when you came in initially, you were working with the early age groups, which is what we call mini tots, and that's from 18 months to 2.5. And then we've got a mega tots, which is 2.5 to 3.5. And then we've got a mighty tots, which is 3.5 to 5 years old. Yep. So does that sound about right then?
Yeah.
Aye, yeah. And so what was that? What was it like then? Like, working with kids, toddlers at that young age, getting them active and taking them through sessions. I mean, a lot of people might find that to be quite challenging.
Yeah, it's obviously quite a challenge as well because a lot of them just want to come up and talk to you. They want to tell you what they did at the weekend. They want to tell you like what t-shirt they've got on and what shoes they've got on. And that's really nice. You obviously want to talk to them, but you've also got to explain the game. So it's trying to find that balance. I always think, I mean, even like today, they all rush in and tell me what they did at the weekend and they ask if I can come over to their house after the thing or whatever. They just want to, they ask if, we can go for ice cream after this. Yeah. They want to talk to you about everything. But you've got to quickly talk to them and tell them and chat to them. Then you get everyone in and you get them listening. But the important thing is, I always think, if you kind of just tell them the game, then they're excited. They want to play the game and you can start explaining that. But obviously, it's quite a handful when you have a lot of children like that. So yeah, I've just got to be confident and keep going and just, I think if you have a good energy around you and you're enthusiastic, the kids will pick up on that. But if you're just kind of just explaining the games and just saying kind of the bare minimum almost, if you want, the kids are just going to pick up on that and they're not going to be
I think that's right. You got to have a certain personality to be able to bring activities to life.
Yeah.
And I think certainly in our part of our training program, we try and instill that within coaches to be animated.
Yeah.
Have lots of energy, enthusiasm, and then to be able to, not just teach the kids in terms of the activities and the skills that they're picking up, but also to entertain them as well.
Definitely, that's a big part of it. I remember, I think it was maybe my second week here or something, you, Yusuf, came to watch one of my classes and you said for the bear game you should try snoring, it'll get them. And I do that on a weekly basis.
It's just small things like that, it makes a difference. Adding the element of snoring as part of an animated process in that particular game, it just makes it a bit more fun for the kids. And it's good to hear that, that advice worked out pretty well for you and you still do it.
Yeah. I mean, with the mini tots class, it's really about just really entertaining them more than anything because, obviously they're not going to play they're not going to be doing passing and stuff. They're just going to be having a lot of fun. So you've got to make yourself look ridiculous if you want to get them to enjoy it. But
and I think we give a lot of credit to you because that's not easy. Do you know what I mean? Coming from coaching and teaching backgrounds, for taking a young group at 18 months, you coming in, delivering a session of that high quality, entertaining those kids. You've been brilliant with that. And what are some of the things that the parents say? Obviously, the parents speak about you quite often. I'm getting all the feedback from the parents all the time actually about Coach Stuart. So what impact have you seen with the kids that they've said to you, look, this is what they like at the start, but Coach Stuart after a few weeks, this is what they like. So what sort of things are
Oh
they
yeah,
saying?
that's another thing. A lot of the parents say like, oh, he was obviously really nervous at first, and it's great to see them come back, and then they're just loving it by week 3 or 4. That's great. Yeah, the parents are lovely to me. Grandparents also always really nice. Usually, if they're filling in, they're always very appreciative of the class at the end. They're very nice. One of the mums said to me today that her little girl plays Coach Stuart around the house, and she tells them to like the bongo drums and play all the games, and she even gives them stamps at the end. And I thought that was really sweet.
That's brilliant. Like the impact that you're having, on these young children, and even outside of the class environment. So credit to yourself.
Yes. So you've become a kid's character yourself that they're emulating. I said I don't know if it gets much better than that. So that's really good. And obviously you've been in this role for quite some time now. 2 years, a long time. You've been doing it week in, week out. Obviously enjoying it, and you've been getting on really well. But tell us, like, what do most people get completely wrong about coaching children?
I think what I've seen other people do, and in fact, see when I was taking the under-6s team, a lot of the coaches for the other under-6s team like shout at the children and scream at them, and they just completely take the fun out of it. And I think that happens at a lot of different football clubs. I've had a lot of parents say, I took my kid to this other football club and he was just getting shouted at and he hated it. But it's more about fun than anything. Yeah, it's great that they can pick up stuff, but it's about like socialising with other children as well. There's a lot more than just the football. Obviously, it's great to learn and teach them football and get them into playing teams, but it's not, I would say it's much more important that they have fun, particularly at this age, than they're perfecting their technique. Obviously, you can help them with that stuff too, but I think that's much more important.
But why do you think that difference is there that you alluded to there? Kids who you've come across being at other providers, other football clubs, and that's the experience that they've had, whereas when they come to Tots United, it's totally different. Like, why is that? Is there an ethos, a philosophy? Is that a cultural difference? What is that?
I think it's partially because all the coaches here are like trained to like deliver fun lessons to everyone, but it's also, we do like fun games that they're actually going to enjoy, rather than they're going to enjoy it and it'll better their football technique, rather than just fully focusing on, go and do some passing with your friend. At this age, they're going to get bored with that right away, and they're going to just want to do something else. You've got to get them getting chased by a bear, if that's how they're going to get their dribbling better. Or, trying to get past the octopus in the middle. If that's, then they'll actually try and dribble, they'll just get bored of dribbling if you say, dribble in a circle. And that's, I think, what some other providers are doing.
Yeah, that's a good point there that you mentioned, like the bear and the octopus. And I suppose that touches on the themes that are within our curriculum. Something, AJ, that you spent a lot of time putting together in terms of our program, our curriculum, the content, and you built themes within that. Maybe that might be something
no, definitely. No, I think you're spot on, Stuart, everything you said. I mean, you're not going to get kids going, right, go and dribble past this cone, shooting the top corner at that age and stage. It's got to be themes based, fun based, get them doing everything through that, but they're still learning the skill element, which they're doing, bear game, octopus game, all the snakes game, the various themes that we're doing. So that's been really, really important when I've come up and devised the curriculum. Kind of really leaned on my teaching expertise of working in early years education, and then giving that to the coaches, when then the coaches executing it. You guys been able to do it and apply it, and we see that with the numbers that are now coming in all your classes. It's Coach Stuart, we're going to say Coach Stuart if you go away on holidays, like they're all asking for Coach Stuart, which is great because you're leaving a real lasting impact in terms of the classes and the community, and also a lot of the children that you've got as well, Stuart. Obviously it progresses different age groups, which you spoke about. You've now got the TU Superstars group as well, which is the 5 to 8 group that you've now got, as well as the mini, mega and mighty tots, which is 18 months to 5 years. Now the older age group that you have, some of those boys that you have, and I know them personally, some of the parents, etc. in the community, they also play with football clubs, but yet they still want to come back to your sessions. So let's touch on that. I mean, we're speaking about that kind of earlier on with some of the feedback. Why do you think that is? These guys are competing in the training 2 or 3 nights a week with other clubs, but yet they still want to come back, Stuart, and come to your class and your session.
That's a good point. I think as they get older, like 6+, a lot of them do sometimes join other teams as well as Tots United. But I think they have so much fun playing football, and obviously they're still getting better, they're still learning a lot, but they do have so much fun at our TU Superstars class, and they've got their friends there. I think it's also really important, particularly for like that kind of age group. It's a huge social thing as well. You just meet loads of friends. Like loads of friends when you're younger are from like your football team, so that's a great thing as well. And so I think they just come because they're going to get better, they're going to enjoy it, and they're just going to get to play with their friends.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to like one of the things that we go on about when it comes to Tots United is that it's fun, it's engaging, it's inclusive, and it's all about the joy that it brings the kids. And I think that just shows in terms of your experience when you're describing that. You know, maybe that focus is not quite there in other providers, other clubs. Maybe it is a bit more pressured, and there's more high pressured environments. Whereas they're not going to have that at Tots United. It's pressure free.
Yep.
And it's, you know, a really good quality curriculum program there that's going to help them with their learning and development. And I always say, like, ultimately supporting their potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously everything's been positive, everything's going really well, but what's been some of the challenges, Stuart, if there's been any, you know, with your coaching journey, your self-delivery, anything at all?
Yeah, trying to think. Sometimes, I'll tell you one little weird challenge that you sometimes get. We also do nurseries, right? We do nurseries, so that's a big thing I do in summer. I think I was all 7 days a week at one point last summer, just in nurseries.
So the demand's that high?
Yeah, nurseries are great fun in the summer, but a lot of the nurseries, sometimes you've got like a big play structure in the middle. So it's all about thinking, what games can you do? Maybe you can't do a game where you're running one side to the other because they're going to bang into the play structure. Or maybe if you've got a small space, you don't want to do something where they're all running really fast. You want to do maybe like a camera game or a dribbling game where they're not going to crash into each other. So that's one challenge I found, that for the nurseries, you have got to adapt your lesson plan, even maybe on the day because you're not sure what you're going to get, or you're not sure which area is available. They might have like a sand pit out that day in the nurseries. So it's all about changing your lesson plan on the day. And that goes for normal classes as well. I have one boy who's terrified of the What's the Time, Mr. Wolf game. Terrified. Will cry for the whole rest of the class if he does it. So I try and play that. If he misses a session, I'll try and play that so the other kids can enjoy that without ruining his class.
Yeah. So I guess that's important, is to be adaptable.
Yeah.
And to be able to adapt, having regard to, you know, the environment that you're in, or the session that's taking place and who's in it. So yeah, that's a good
And do you
point.
think in terms of, like, Stuart, the training, you know, the comprehensive training that you get kind of behind the scenes, all the kind of work that builds up to the class and session, how's that been that for you? You know, the training you've got, everything you get from us, you know, the wider team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely important to use like that.
Don't try to blow a trumpet here.
Yeah, it's definitely important because you get trained to obviously follow a lesson plan, but you also get told, like you literally said to me, I think maybe my first day here, the lesson plan's just like a guide. If that game's not going your way, if the kids are just getting bored, just switch it up. And I can put a count on my fingers the amount of times I've used the lesson plan exactly. You have to change it all the time because kids, they get bored quite quickly of games. They want to move on to something else, or even they'll just come up, you'll five them coming up and asking you, oh, can we play the big game? And sometimes you can just play it because you want to make everyone enjoy it as much as possible. So you've got to, I think you generally said it on the first day, this is just a lesson plan, but you can change it up. And you definitely do have to just continuously adapt to see. And
in terms of like the resources, the content, the themes, lesson plans, how do you find them, Stuart? Do you think they're good?
Yeah, no, they're obviously really good, and they change up for like Easter or Christmas if you're going to do different themed games, which is always good. The kids love all the Christmas games that come around. But yeah, they're really good, and there's a lot of games, so the kids don't get bored. They're not playing the same game until like 3 weeks later, which is really good, because if they're playing the same ones every time, it's just going to get a bit repetitive. But we have a ton of games and warm-ups and everything.
Mm-hmm. And tell us, Stuart, like what surprised you most about, like, generally how Tots United runs things behind the scenes?
I guess I'd say, I don't know if this is really answering your question, but I never thought of like the whole nursery thing. But it's obviously a really good thing to get into, because it's just, I always think when I'm just thinking of summer, I'm thinking I'm going to be in loads of nurseries coaching kids. So I guess that's something I never considered I'd be able to get those nursery chefs coming in and delivering football sessions.
Yeah, I mean, that's our partnerships with certain educational settings, one of which is nurseries. And the nice thing about that is, generally speaking, a lot of the kids, when we work with a nursery partner, a lot of the kids they're already attending a Tots United class.
Yeah.
So there's that familiarity, which is nice. And then when we're asked by a nursery partner to go and deliver our Tots United classes and sessions at their setting, it's it's an honour and a privilege.
Yeah,
and a lot of good fun.
It's great. I love the nursery class. Yeah, it's great. They all get very excited when you come into the nursery. They all just rush out.
Yeah. But I suppose my question was more along the lines of like how things run behind the scenes. I mean, you're doing those sessions plus the weekend sessions, and you'd be working like week in, week out. In terms of that whole process, the logistics, does it run seamlessly? And, is there anything that surprised you about how things run behind the scenes?
Yeah, it does run really well. I think it's good having the storage unit as well, because then you can go get equipment, or if I'm ever away on holiday, I don't have to like track down some coach. I can just go put my equipment in there. They'll go get the equipment and take over the class. So that's quite good. And also it's good that if you can't make a session, if you're covering someone else's session, you can just go grab whatever you need from that storage unit. So the storage unit's pretty helpful.
Yeah, our storage facilities, I mean, that's something that, we put in place, and it's there to help the coaches with the logistics. No doubt about it. And I suppose, like, what about in terms of like the communication channels, the systems, the class registers? Generally speaking,
The day-to-day running of everything, everything behind the scenes before you're going to this class. How is it for you?
Yeah,
you can talk about us. You can talk about the wider team.
I mean, it just it runs really well.
Seamlessly, would you say?
I would say seamlessly. Yeah. Just like I can text if there's any problems or anything. AJ replies very quickly, which is good. If you're like in the middle of the class and you've got a quick problem, like, oh, are they meant to be moving up a class this week or something? You just quickly text and find out. That's pretty good. And registers work really well. Just nice and simple. Click on it. Click all the names.
Real-time access.
Yeah.
So you've always got up-to-date register information in real time.
Yeah, and that also, they move up automatically on the register, or at least for me they do. I don't know if that's you two doing that, but they move up the class in the register when they...
We've got a team handling all that, so yeah.
That works well as well.
Yeah, and that's part of like the seamless integration. There's the backroom team, the administrative team, they help take care of a lot of that side of things to enable coaches like yourself to be able to then just, deliver the sessions with ease, I suppose.
I know, I think that's just something that you don't really think about when you're coaching. You're just thinking about delivering the class, but yeah, they're all making it to the right place somehow and going to the right classes. So.
Yeah. What would you say, Stuart, Coach Stuart? People listening in, hopefully people are still listening in and subscribing and all the stuff you should be saying. If they're listening and thinking, this is something I really want to be part of, I really want to be, a coach for Tots United, what would be your advice, to them?
Yeah, I'd say do it. It's so much fun. Like, it is. A lot of my friends are just like, oh, I've got work at the weekend, but I don't feel like that. And I know all the coaches I know here don't feel like that. Everyone, they love what they're doing. It's such great fun. And I'm right in saying
you come back from university as well, don't you, to do sessions? Yeah. And listen, we you do that on your own will if you want to. I'm not forcing.
He's not dragged back from Stirling.
Yeah, I originally thought I'd go to Stirling, maybe even try and get a job up there, or just stay the weekends there because I've got accommodation up there. And obviously, I don't want to miss out on the weekend up there, but it's just so much fun coming back here for coaching. I think there's a couple coaches that do that. They come back from wherever they stay to work because it's just, you don't want to give up on the job.
And even in terms of, coming from a teaching back myself, Stuart, like how is Tots United, coaching, working with Tots United, delivering sessions, how's that helped with your kind of teaching degree in your course?
Yeah, I think it definitely has, because you learn more than anything to manage them. If you know what I mean, like how to make sure they're listening, how to make sure they're engaged. And I think that definitely does help. That's the biggest correlation between teaching. It's about making sure they're engaged, making sure they're learning like the football skills they need to, or in the classroom, like the geography skills they need to, but also they're entertaining them, because that's the same in the classroom as well. You got to make sure your class is entertained. You got to be doing tasks they enjoy, and that's kind of the same with football. You've got to make sure they learn the football skills, but it's by doing games that they're going to enjoy while they pick up the skills.
Listen, a lot to be said for that. The fact that during the week you live up in Stirling because you're studying up there, and you feel a strong desire to come back at the weekend to take Tots United sessions in the west of Scotland. Glasgow and surrounding areas, Renfrewshire, etc. So it's, I think, a lot to be said for that.
Yeah.
And also the fact that how doing the Tots United work, delivering the sessions, stuff like that, has supplemented your education and helped you.
Yeah.
What you're studying, and I suppose it kind of goes hand in hand. It's win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you got a particular like best moment coaching, Stuart? Thinking you've been with us now a couple of years, a best moment you think that's been my highlight. I know there's been many.
Like a moment that
You think,
stopped you in your tracks and
It's the moment. I couldn't really just choose one, but the moments I love is just like, see when I'm saying we're going to play the octopus game, and just when like the kids shout, "Oh, I love that game!" It's when they shout, or at the end of the coach they say, "That was amazing. Can we do another hour?" It's like just anything like that. I love when they just come up to me and just like tell me something, or they're like, "Oh, Coach Stuart, you weren't here last week. Oh, I missed you so much. I'm so glad you're back." It's when they just say stuff like that. It's just you realise that you obviously do mean quite a lot to these kids that you're coaching.
And you touched on before, obviously, like some of your kind of friends and things you're at university with are going to work and they're just kind of miserable and stuff. But that's certainly not how you feel. You've been saying you really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I mean, from the day one when I met you, when we got you coaching, we could see your energy, enthusiasm. When we kind of spoke to your mum about it, she goes, "Look, he'd be great." And I still remember that day as if yesterday. And you've kept that enthusiasm, that energy, which is so important for us. And you've been a real credit, to our kids and classes and program.
Thank you.
in terms of like the impact thing, if we go back to that, we're talking about that any kind of special moments that really stood out, stopped you in your tracks, made you think, wow. Has there been standout moments like that? Is that something that comes up like frequently?
Actually, quite recently, I also had a boy who'd left his last football club, and his mum just talked to me quickly at the start. She was like, he left his last football club, didn't enjoy it, just wasn't really having fun. It's just looking to try something. He might not like it, maybe he just doesn't like football. So he gave it a try, and then he came up to me right at the end of the session. He's like, "That was amazing. I love that." And he was so excited, and his mum's like, "I've just not seen him like that before." So it's just nice that she obviously thought the message give up on football might just not be something he likes, which obviously will be for some children, but
it's like real impact right there.
Yeah.
Because if that boy didn't have that experience, if he didn't try, with us, then he might not be active, moving, and playing football.
Yeah.
So no credit.
Yeah, and have you ever come across a situation where like, what do parents say their kids are like after your class versus before your class?
Yeah, I've had a lot of kids that have come in and the parents have said they're very shy, doesn't like talking to anyone, probably won't do anything. And for the first week, they might be right. A lot of the time, first week, kids just like to kind of watch, see what's going on, particularly in the mini tots. They maybe get more into right into it when they're a bit older. And then you just see them come on for the weeks and they make friends. And their parents are just really happy about that part as well, more than anything. That they're making friends and they're coming right out of their shell. You get ones that come in and they really don't want to do anything, and then 2 weeks later they sprint in and they can't wait to get started. So,
but why do you think that is, Stuart?
I think it's just that you should make sure like you're like a friend to them, almost like you come over, give them a high five. I've probably given out over 1 million high fives, I think, overall. Just high five them all when they come in.
Part of the lesson plan, by the way.
I think, maybe over 1 million high fives. You always give them, and you make sure, you even say, what I do a lot of the time with the kids that are a wee bit nervous, you just say, "Oh, mum, dad, you come and join in with them this session." So they take them around until they're more comfortable. And then eventually they're like, "Oh, mum, dad, sit down. I want to play this game myself." So that's what I do a lot. I say, "Mum, dad, granny, grandpa," even. Sometimes big brothers and sisters can come over and help them as well. That usually helps them kind of get into the class right away. And yeah, you just let the weeks go by, keep being nice and keep making sure they're happy and enjoying the games. And eventually, they pretty much always just love it by about week 5 or 6.
Brilliant. And I mean, if we kind of get into some of the nitty gritty, maybe some of the challenges, I suppose, in this line of work, what would you say is like the hardest part of this type of work that nobody sees?
The hardest part, probably, particularly for a new coach coming in, if you've got a big class of 20, it's just making sure you're having. It's going to be chaos, but making sure it's controlled chaos. Because you've got to make sure they're doing, if it's a really hyper class as well, you've got to make sure they're doing games where they're running around. Not games where it's just like stomping on top of your football and just doing really basic skills. You've got to keep them entertained, or else the class could just get away from you. And it's probably happened to everyone at least once that you're just thinking, "Oh, this game's got away from me." But it's just about bringing them back in, maybe doing a game that everyone likes. There's like some games that you just know they all cheer when you announce that you're going to be playing that game. So maybe play one of them if you're struggling to get them engaged. But it's really just making sure that it's controlled chaos, not chaos. And that's what I'd say.
And that maybe goes back to an earlier point you were making about like being adaptable, being able to change things around as the context sort of requires.
One from me, Stuart. If you weren't getting paid for this, would you still do it?
Yeah, actually, I generally
I
said
said I knew you would say that. I knew you would.
I said that to, I think it was like my mom or dad or something. They asked me that same question. Like, I don't think of it as work. I love all my classes here and everything. Like, it's definitely something I would do for volunteering. Don't get any ideas.
We've got that on camera.
Thankfully, you're way past that stage now. But no, that's really good to hear that. And we do hear that all the time, like in terms of coaches in this line of work, that they're just doing something that they love doing,
Yeah.
that they're passionate about, and it brings them a lot of joy, as well as, you know, giving kids and their families a lot of joy.
Yeah.
So a lot to be said for that, you know, and money's not be all end all, and I think that probably reflects your answer on that.
And I think if you're seen happy and enjoying buzzing at work, which I know you are and all the coaches are, it reflects in the whole class and the environment in the programme.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
kids, that's why the demand's high, your classes are full, they're always asking for Coach Stuart, and just keep that going.
Yeah. And what would you say to like someone who's thinking about getting into coaching, working with kids, teaching them these skills, but they're not sure if it's right for them?
Yeah. So I'd say, first of all, you've got to try it. It's great fun. But the biggest piece of advice, and I might have said this earlier, but the biggest piece of advice is just, like, particularly for the mini tots and the young ones, like the 18-month-year-olds, you've got to just really get into it. It's not going to work if you're just saying, all right, let's play the bear game, and you just kind of half-heartedly chase it. You've got to get fully into it. It's like an acting performance more than anything with the little ones. You've got to, don't think, oh, these parents will be thinking I look ridiculous. You've got, the parents want you to be doing all that, going well over the top. And like,
Is that something that people can readily do? Can it be learned, or do you need to have like a certain like personality for it?
that's a good question. I think it can be learned, you can get better at it, but it's definitely better if you've got like a personality, if you're good with kids and you've got a kind of very energetic. I think being very energetic is important for the job.
Aye. Tell us a bit more about that, the personality. You know, what kind of personality would this line of work be suited?
Yeah, I think it's, if you're someone that like gets bored easily, it's a good job for you, because I get bored quite easily, like in my lectures and everything. I just tune out about 10 minutes in, but you trust me, you will not be bored. You've got so many things to do. You're playing a game, but you're also trying to help that one kid who maybe doesn't want to dribble. He wants to pick up the ball. I mean, that happens all the time. They don't really want to dribble all the time. Some of them just want to pick it up, and you're saying, oh, but try dribbling. You are really good at it. You ought to be doing that. But you've also still got to be running the game and making sure that the full rest of the class is enjoying it. So you'll definitely not get bored. That's something I would say.
And would you say, Coach Stuart, with your experience with the other coaches that we've got at Tots United, they're the same?
Yeah. I mean, all the coaches that I coach with are, they're really good. They're really energetic. And it's more just, whatever coach I'm with, it's usually just, we both want to take that game. And it's just like, all right, I'll do this one, you get the next one. No one really wants to sit about at all. Everyone wants to be getting in and getting involved.
Brilliant. Okay, we've covered quite a lot there. I wonder if we maybe move towards the quick fire section.
Oh, yes.
So do you know what a quick fire is, Stuart?
Guessing you're going to be firing questions at me?
That's it. And it's like you need to reply
Quickly.
That's it.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your head.
And that's it. Yeah, so there's no waiting around thinking about it. It's instant, almost instantaneous. So do you want to do this one with Stuart?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Best moment coaching?
No. Come
on, no thinking.
Quick fire. I'd say I covered a sports day one time, which was something completely different, and I loved that day. I covered a sports day in
one of the nursery partners.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was so different, but I loved it. It was really sunny. All the parents were coming to watch. So yeah, that was definitely one of my best moments. There's probably countless others I'm forgetting, but right off the top of my head,
Okay.
that's a day I remember was really fun.
Best age group?
Oh, all the other age groups are going to get sad. I think Mighty Tots is good because they're still like really young and really
And
cute.
what age group is that?
3.5 to 5.
Good. Toughest age group?
Toughest age group. Oh. Sorry, I'm too terrible at the quickfire part of this. They're all so different. Toughest age group. I think most coaches would probably say the 18-month to 2.5. I think most coaches would say that. But I'd maybe go the TU Superstars maybe. And I still think the TU Superstars is great. I think that most coaches maybe choose that as their easiest, but And I still love them. It changes every day which class is which class.
And what age group is that?
5.5 to 8.
Good.
But I think it's that's where you have to balance the teams out and make sure everyone's having and sometimes the ones that are the younger ones, really, it just tends to be, sometimes there may be, if the older players are just like dominating the ball, you have to make sure they're getting involved, and sometimes they can get a bit sad if they're not getting past it and stuff. I think that's where like some other challenges come in. So I'd probably say that, but I don't think that would be a common answer for the coaches.
Okay, one word for Tots United.
Fun.
Good. Oof. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo, I'm afraid.
And who's going to win the Champions League?
Hopefully PSG, but I'd say Bayern if I had to bet money on it.
Well done, that was a good quick fire round.
Thank you. Some of them not so quick fire for me, but
Brilliant. Okay. No, it's been good. Good discussion. Covered a lot of points there. Some interesting points as well.
Yes, and we've wanted to do this for a long time, with you. So we're glad you've come in to HQ, got a chance to catch up. Hopefully everyone's still tuned in because it's been a fascinating and
it's been good fun.
Brilliant journey with you so far at Tots United, and long may this continue with you, young man.
Yeah, I mean, you've done exceptionally well. As we kind of mentioned at the beginning, you've been with us for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is a good amount of time, and been working with us week in, week out, all different types of sessions. So you've had like the full spectrum of Tots United work, and you've thrived.
Oh, thank
you. Done really well, and you're spoken about very highly, not just by the kids but by the parents as well. So very well done.
Thank you,
Coach Stuart, and really good to sit down and catch up with you at Tots United HQ.
Yep.
And
yeah, well done, young man. We can't thank you enough for everything you do with the kids, the impact you're having, the well-being you're improving. And I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. Listen, we are producing the next superstars for Scotland Football Club. And I mean, boys and girls, you heard it here first. So can we finish with, let's go, Tots United.
Let's go, Tots United.
Come on!